All right, so this is part 2 of reclaiming your creative space. In the first video, I've asked you to go and take this online questionnaire from Cass Arson, who is the Clutterbug expert. It will help to have you figure out what is your organizing style. If you need the link, it's down in this description as well. Please go take it. And then hopefully you have answered the question, what is your organizing style, right? What are you? Are you a bee or a butterfly or a cricket or a ladybug? So now it's time to get into the actual of what steps do you take to reclaim your creative space. But first, I also want to reiterate and to help remind you of the purpose of why. Why is this important to you now? Why is it important to you that you are creating and not just collecting art supplies? You've probably come to realize that your time is not limitless and you want to be productive. It's definitely hard to find what you're looking for when you have too much. And when you have more space, your supplies aren't taking over. Knowing what you have saves time and money, and keeping organized is easier when you have less. Let me give you an overview of what the plan is. The plan is to organize in the SPACE method, and SPACE stands for sort, purge, assign, contain, and evaluate. In the sorting phase, you'll begin taking groups of craft items out of your space and temporarily moving them to another space. The point of doing this is to collect like with like so that you see what you have. So that's the sorting plan. The second thing is purge. When you have everything collected of certain things, then you can start to decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to get rid of. In the questionnaire, you've already started to think about what crafts that you do now versus ones you've done in the past. Stuff that you haven't used in, say, over 2 or 3 years, you're probably not going to go back to. So you will have to think about, if you want to get rid of those things or not. I don't know if you've ever watched that show with Marie Kondo. I forgot the name of it. She goes into people's homes and she helps them declutter and organize. One of the first things that she does is she asks people to go into their bedroom and to take all their clothes and to pile it on the bed. And then once the person has everything on the bed, you see this huge mountain of clothing. And most of the time, the people in the video are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I had so much clothes. And that's kind of the purpose. It's gathering it all together so you see how much that you have, and then going through it one by one, looking at each piece of clothing and being like, yeah, do I like this or do I want to get rid of it? And she always has that question, does it bring you joy? Also, think about what you want to keep, what is important to you, right? Rather than thinking about what you can get rid of. And there's a little bit of a difference there. You're not thinking, I can get rid of that, I can get rid of that, I can get rid of that. You're thinking, this is important to me, I like this, I want this. And then the other things are not important and they can go. And I will provide more information about purging, specific instruction about purging shortly. I just want to go over this whole plan first. Okay, sort, purge, now comes assign. Once you have the things that you're going to keep, you have to figure out where you're going to put them in your creative space. So you're going to start looking at your prime real estate. Where is the stuff that is at eye level? Where is the stuff that is closest to you within reach? Are you able to use, your vertical space? All of those questions you're going to be thinking about in the assign phase. Next is contain. You can't really buy containers and holders for your things until you know how much you have and where it's supposed to go. Is it supposed to go on your desk? Is it supposed to be hidden away? When you know the answer to that question, that's when you can go and start buying containers. For me, I always try to repurpose something old. I like to use old candy containers or old food product containers. Of course, you know, you can buy containers from Container Store or whatever, IKEA. Sometimes you will have to take measurements. So you might want to take, you know, write down on a piece of paper what space needs to be, whatever size. Take a picture with it on your phone so that you always have it with you. And if you happen to be in a store and you come across containers, you'll be like, oh, let me just grab my phone and look at the numbers to see what was the width of the space that I have on my desk where I can put a container. Okay, the last thing. Once everything has been sorted and purged and assigned and contained, the last is to evaluate. And this is not something that you just do once and done. Evaluation is something that you should be doing maybe twice a year, once a year even. It's just to see, is this working? Do I have things in the right spot? Do I have these things within reach that I use the most, right? So you're just constantly looking over your area to make sure that the space is working for you. All right, are you ready? This is how you begin. If you want to, you can take a picture, a before picture of what your space looks like right now. What you want to do is take a trash can or a bag or whatever and start with a first walkthrough. Pick up all the crumpled bits of paper, the dried up glue sticks, dried up supplies. Pick up trash basically and throw it out. And also look for things that don't belong. Dog toys, pet toys, kids' toys, cups, plates, kitchen stuff, anything that does not belong in that space in an obvious way, go ahead and take it out. Now the purging is the hardest part. It's the part that takes the most time. So you are gathering like with like items in a pile or in groups. And now you're going to decide what you're going to get rid of, what you're keeping and what you're getting rid of. You can create bins or boxes and put things that you are donating in one box, you are going to sell perhaps, stuff that needs to be recycled, or things that simply don't belong. You can ask yourself some questions to help you evaluate as you go through. Will I actually use this item for crafting in the near future? Does this item hold significant value to me? Is this in usable condition? Is this a craft I'm still interested in and enjoy doing? Do I have the right amount? Are there duplicates? It helps if you do this process kind of fast. If you take too long to contemplate each piece of washi tape or whatever, it'll take forever, first of all. But second, you'll start to overthink and you'll start to doubt yourself. So go with your first gut reaction. You will have to let go of the guilt and let go of the money that you have spent. And this is harder for the more expensive things that you have, obviously. But the money is gone. And even if you see value in the item, the value is diminished or pretty much gone from all the time that you've had it. So it's almost impossible to recoup the cost unless you want to really sell it on Craigslist or, secondhand and make the effort to get the money back that you've paid for something. Keep reminding yourself of the goal, the main purpose for doing this declutter, for reclaiming your creative space. It's to get back the ability to create, and it's to get you back to that place where you are doing what you love, which is being creative and creating art. If you think about what you're gaining instead of what you're losing, it will help you so much to continue doing what you need to do. If you are struggling to let things go, or if the idea makes you anxious or nervous, I can't let it go, I just can't, what you can do is you can box things up. You put things in the box, put what's inside, move the box out of your space, put it, I don't know, wherever you can put it, and then hold on to that box for, say, 6 months or a year. And if you don't use anything, if you don't take anything out of the boxes, then you know, I didn't need any of it, I don't want it. And it's likely over time you will not want those things back into your space anyway. Okay, so what do you do with your stuff? How do you get rid of it? What's the plan? You can sell things on Craigslist, for example. You'll probably want to donate. Who do you donate to? You can find a relative or a friend who's just starting with crafts and maybe would like some supplies. You can also find a school or a church that has, projects for preschoolers or something like that if they want some art supplies that way. That's also a good way to donate. Or you can just, take it to a secondhand place like a Goodwill or Salvation Army. A lot of times those secondhand places have to just throw stuff out because if it's, partially used paints or things like that, they can't really resell that. They're looking for things that they can themselves resell. So donating to a school or some kind of organization is probably, a good way, the best way, one of the best ways to get rid of art supplies and craft supplies. Once you've sorted and purged, I wanted to show you some ideas for assigning and containing. I like these desk caddies from Punch Studio. I love file folders, and you can stick the file folders at the very back area and have a bunch of papers and things in the front. There's also these carts. You can find them in all different kinds of places. This same cart, but in different versions on Amazon, IKEA, Michael's Container Store, and most of the time they're made from metal, which means that you can clip on, stuff with magnets on it. Here's another kind of rolling storage cart, something off of Amazon. And then thinking about different kinds of ways that you can create areas for your things. If you don't have a whole room, maybe you have a closet that's accessible to you and you can turn it into a little closet studio. There's so many wonderful pictures on Pinterest of this type of thing. So if you have a guest room and you're not able to spread out and to put all of your things on a desk or something in a guest room, then you can think about changing your closet into a small studio. You can also think about repurposing a piece of furniture. What if you used a china hutch? What if you used your dining room in general? How often do people use their dining rooms in their houses? Not too often, I think. Most people eat in the kitchen or on a kitchen nook or something, right? IKEA has these units called Kallax. They're really nice because they come in, so many different variables. You can do sets or stacks of 4 or rows of 4, 2, or flip them on the side, whatever. So I'm still talking about containing. Some people, depending on your organizing style, want to see everything. They want to have that stimulation of all of their craft things around them. Some people do this because it makes them happy, and also because they don't want to forget what they have. Kind of makes it easier if you could just see everything. But other people want it clean and clear and be able to put it away and behind the cabinet door. Don't want to see it, right? It helps them to be creative when they have less stimulation. But behind cabinets, maybe you have things really organized to the last detail, right? Some people love to have labels on everything, on lots of things, very specific labels. So maybe that's your type, right? And maybe it's not. Maybe you don't care to do any of that, right? Your desk space is pretty important. So depending on your organizing style, think about if it's better to have fewer things on your desk, or would you prefer to have more things on your desk so that you can, see all the things that you have. Purge a couple of times a year. Also continually assess if your space is working for you or not. Decluttering and reclaiming your creative space, it helps you be mindful of what you have. It helps you appreciate what you have, and it helps you be careful in bringing new things into your space, right? Again, the bottom line is that you want to be creative. You want to be productive with your time. And just remembering what clutter takes away from you. What is the value of this clutter, and how it's stopping you from doing what you want to do, right? Those are really important things to remember. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. Please do leave me some comments of what you're thinking or feeling, or if you're able to go through this process and go through your things and get rid of things that are not helping you be creative, right? This is about your time and what you can do with it and how you can create. And it's not about the things. It's not. So hopefully you are inspired to go and make some changes if you feel the need to make those changes and if you want to. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you the next time.